I really thought things would be different this time with this Vikings team, that all of the past mishaps and blunders are only a thing of the past, frozen in time. That this new Vikings team, onward and upward, based off of what we've seen for most of the regular season, in the playoffs, they are either going to win or be a tough out. And turns out neither of those things happened, with this video being brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. 14-3, lots of promise, and the Vikings shat the bed. Season's over. One and done. You lose to the LA Rams. Final score 27-9. You lose by 3 scores. Sam Darnold with the opportunity of a lifetime to get the bag, the ultimate bag. Spotrac had his market value at close to $55 million per year. And instead, he tanked his very own market value. The 2 biggest games of the year, he choked. Week 18, chance to get the 1 seed. You're not even playing in the wild card round. And again, in the playoffs, in the wild card round, what we saw tonight. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. Both of those games against the Lions and the Rams, it was all the same. Sam Darnold locking onto his targets, not going through his progressions to find better options to throw the ball, instead deciding, all right, I'm just going to force feed to Jets or Jordan Addison when they're locked in coverage, even in double teams, or I'm just going to overshoot everybody in the pocket. You, at times, for most of this season, Sam Darnold, were able to sense pressure. And in these past 2 games, you just became Kirk Cousins. You transformed into the ghost of Kirk Cousins, where you just stood there, deer in the headlights. Sacked 9 times this game for 82 yards, one of them being a sack fumble recovered by the Rams defense and returned for a touchdown. Sam Darnold, the last 8 quarters of the season, 1 touchdown pass. And that touchdown was in garbage time tonight against the Rams. Needless to say, the Vikings are done, finished with Sam Darnold. We can end the hot takes, the discourse, the discussions on, oh my God, what should the Vikings offer Sam Darnold? I'll tell you what the Vikings should offer Sam Darnold: a pat on the back, a high five. Hey, bro, thanks for all it is that you have done for us this season. Good luck to you and your future. Let him be a financial burden to somebody else. A market value of $55 million per year can kiss the blackest part of my ass. You don't spend that money only for you to pull 2 all-time choke jobs back-to-back weeks, one of them resulting in your season being over. Thanks, but no thanks. Bring on the J.J. McCarthy era. You have close to $70 million in cap available before you make any sort of cuts or restructures to free up even more available cap room. Spend that money elsewhere, build up this roster, bring on J.J. McCarthy for 2025. New customers at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino get a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Promo code YouTube150. Going to KOC. And I want to make sure I'm not raging out when I say this. I'm dead ass serious. I'm more disappointed than angry. I guess that's part of growing up. Kevin O'Connell is good for the culture. He's good for developing player relationships. But in terms of coaching on the field, Kevin O'Connell is soft. He got out-coached and outclassed by not just Sean McVay, but also Dan Campbell twice in one season. In fact, the first time around, going up against both of these teams, the Vikings were better. And even though they lost both of those first games against the Lions and the Rams, Dan Campbell and Sean McVay, they adjusted to get even better. Whereas KOC, the second time around, he regressed. 2 playoff appearances, 0 playoff wins, 1 and done. Both of those playoff exits, we look back and say, what were you thinking? 4th and 8 in 2022, a bad play call. In this game, You abandon the intermediate of the field with the passing attack for most of the game, and then choosing to ride it out with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was so bad that you should have started Nick Mullins in the third quarter. Not to say that you would have won with Nick Mullins, but you sure as hell weren't winning a damn thing with Sam Darnold. We're talking about at that point, up to halftime, 6 quarters of playing like booty butt cheeks. But you decided to value friendships and not hurting feelings over what's best for the team to try and win games. That's what matters most, winning games. The culture and everything like that, that's secondary. Or rather, it's a way that you can build up this team to win games. That's one thing. But the results have not panned out. Down 18 points tonight, you wanted to run the football when you needed to score with urgency. Down 3 possessions. You need to focus on being a head coach. Focus on trying to get wins. Stop calling plays. You are now 3 years into your head coaching career. Evidently, you don't know what it is that you're doing in the biggest of moments, especially in the playoffs. And that's not just me saying it. The tape is saying it. Against elite coaches, you always get pumped. And I don't care about the regular season rankings and how KOC is one of the elite coaches the last 3 years, because look at his win percentage. In the playoffs, the man stinks. He has proven when it comes to play calling, being in over his head. Nobody's saying he should be fired. He just shouldn't be calling the plays. KOC's offense, and this is your baby, the last 2 games, 18 points scored, 1 touchdown. Per Kevin Seifert via ESPN Research, 8 of the 9 sacks on Sam Darnold tonight came via a 4-man rush. You and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, because I know he's not going to make any moves, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because of hashtag collaboration, without your input. You and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, the GM, brought back Garrett Bradbury. You know how bad that he has been as a player. The interior offensive line has been a struggle long before your arrival, KOC and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah for that matter. But yet, you decided to bring back Garrett Bradbury. You decided to continue to do what the previous regime did with the interior offensive line, as in patchwork. We'll find a way. I said in real time back when Isaac Seumalo, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, a guard, was in free agency. I was like, yo, go after this guy. This should be priority number 1. And they didn't. He ended up going to the Pittsburgh Steelers on a relatively team-friendly contract. He would be an upgrade right now over Blake Brandel. But I get that's in the past, but certainly with $70 million in cap to spend, there's no excuse not to address the interior offensive line in free agency. You bring back Garrett Bradbury, then it just tells me, all right, you're not being serious right now. But I'm telling you, man, as a head coach, just an overseer, like the head guy to lead the locker room and rah-rah and make players feel good about themselves, KOC is really good. But in terms of coaching on the football field, adjustments, big games, going up against elite coaches, he is just not that guy. Objectively, those are the facts. He eventually, one would hope that eventually he will look himself in the mirror and say, you know what, man, the results speak for itself. I'm not getting it done. 3 years in, I haven't gotten better at this one aspect, that he eventually has to look in the mirror and say, all right, man, I got to leave my pride outside of TCO Performance Center and do what's best for the team. Season's over. A good season. Hopefully they progress from this point forward, but I guess we can. The off-season talks as far as roster moves, draft, mock drafts, free agency, where they should spend that money, that can commence starting now. Thanks to the folks at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Shout out again to everybody that's been part of the live stream this season. We did 21 watch parties this year, and it's not going to stop. I have so much fun doing it. Tonight was a blast, even in the face of misery. We'll see you next time.